Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Unstoppable Pursuit podcast, where we're pushing the limits in business, life, and health. And today, we're talking about patience. And guess what? This is episode 10. I'm Brian Benson, and the man, the myth, the legend, he's back. It's Mike Stull. Woo! What's up,
everybody? Back in the saddle. Glad to be back.
He's back. 10th episode. Woo! All right, we're going to get started with the Dominate Your Day reading. Check it out at michaelstull.com. And go ahead, brother. Let's go.
There are times when we all feel a lack of patience. We get frustrated that things are not happening on the timeline we want them to, whether personal or business. The thing you need to remember is that there is certain timing to everything big and small. If things aren't happening right now, take a step back to survey the situation and make better use of your downtime. Maybe you are being prepped for something big on the horizon. Maybe you need to look at things from a different angle or point of view. Just know right now it's happening because it's 100% supposed to. Live in the moment and keep your head up. It's not a matter of if, but when. The great things on the horizon are coming your way.
Dude, I love that. I mean, it is a matter of if, not when. And if you're taking consistent, massive action, it will happen. It really, really will. 100%. I just believe that. So why patience? Why, in this world that we live in this we want it now, instant gratification, millennial world. Millennial, I hate that term really, but I guess that's what they're going to call people. That's up to them, not me. But, why? Why is it so important, Mike?
Well, I just, like it said in the reading, I think that there is a timeline to everything. I mean, there is overnight success, and I've seen people have overnight success, but I think that for a majority of the hardworking people out there that are trying to build their businesses and their brands, I think that you need to understand that there is a timeline. Like, there will be improvement from day to day, but it's not like, you're going to see massive improvement in, let's say, a span of a week. So, I think the term, how do you eat an elephant? And I've said this to my clients in regards to health and wellness, whether they're building muscle or they're trying to lose weight, is how do you eat an elephant? You eat it one bite at a time. Meaning, this is a huge task out in front of you of trying to go and accomplish your goal. Break it up into manageable chunks. Take one bite at a time. Eventually, you're going to eat a whole damn elephant. I don't recommend that, but I've never even had elephant meat before in my life. I'm an animal activist, okay? So.
No, I agree with you 100%. And what you said was, that I liked was like that the prepping for like the future kind of thing, and I was thinking about like Mark Zuckerberg. It's like we thought that like Facebook seemed like this overnight success dude in the dorm room. But how long had he been building code and working on his craft? Probably since he was a little kid, right? Yeah. I mean, so we're always, whatever happens, like you have to think about the stuff you're doing now and what you had been doing. It's kind of like us in the personal development space. I mean, how long have we been investing in that, for years, So, but we didn't think at the time it was...
Right. No, and you saying that makes me think back, like when I was younger, I used to set up like a little table in my front yard for cars passing by, and I used to try to sell my baseball cards. Like I used to be hustling the neighborhood kids. Like if I knew that there was a card in value that was increasing, like a basketball card, like I tried to trade. Like Grant Hill was like very popular at the time. I tried to hustle all my neighborhood kids, and I got all the Grant Hill cards that I could because like I was doing that at a young age. I'm sure there were things that you were doing that we didn't really realize that we were trying to build towards something better even at a young age.
Oh yeah, I mean when my little brother and my older brother and I we would shovel driveways in the winter, but we came up with like this B&B like snow shovel service, and we would go up to doors and knock and shovel like old people's driveways, and I mean but I think that was like part of setting myself up for an entrepreneurial journey. Taught me sales, taught me how to like. But I had to be, the whole thing was like, all that leads up to where we are now, and that's what we have to think about sometimes in the longevity and the patience and things. So, let's talk about like the having the whole like why patience, but this whole like ability to handle adversity and hard times.
Well, I think that throughout your journey, it's important to have patience because, again, there is a timeline to everything, and it takes a long time to master your craft. Like
10,000 hours.
Yeah, like I mean, even like the people that are the best of the best in their field, they are still a work in progress. So like having patience is everything, really, because again, like as far as overnight success, we're not going to go to bed tonight and then wake up tomorrow and just be filthy rich or be extremely successful. We're always a work in progress.
Yeah, I agree, and and I think having patience in your life allows you to feel better about the adverse situations and hard times and things that come to you, because look, it will happen. It becomes a matter of if, not when, or when, not if, right?
Yeah, when, not.
And I think that, so it's like, okay, some adversity happens in your life or something happens, it's like, but I still know in the back of my mind that I'm going to get there. So I just have to deal with what's going on now, and it allows me to see more opportunities and feel better about it. It doesn't feel as hard. It allows you to
manage things, basically, because shit's going to hit the fan at some point in time, and you are going to hit adversity, and it allows you to manage it.
Right.
It allows you to bite off that chunk, chew it, digest it, and then move on to the next thing, So it goes back to what we said at the beginning.
Yeah, and that's the story of, the coal miner who was, down in the mine, and he was, chipping away for years and years and years, and then finally one day he gave up, right? But then the next coal miner goes down there, one strike, he hits gold, right? So it's like, don't give up, because you never know when that next thing's going to happen. I interviewed Captain Brian from Off the Hook Comedy Club, and he got turned down for funding for the Southwest Performing Arts Center 40 different times. 40 times. Banks, investors told him no. But he said, well, what if I would have stopped at 35? What if I would have stopped at 39? So that's how you got to think about it. You just got to be patient and persistent.
Yeah, and I think that's what keeps most entrepreneurs going. Like I know you and I, we're always talking about, well, it could be the very next thing. It could be that very next step. Like you don't know, you don't know what the future holds, but all you know is that you just want to keep going. It's in your blood. You want better. Like you don't want to be complacent. You're not happy with where you're at. Like you do appreciate where you're at, but the true heart of an entrepreneur is that you want to do better. You want to keep progressing, moving forward. So
yeah, and we have Gary V up here. He did Wine Library for 18 months. Nobody cared or watched or anything, but he has this.
We didn't.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be real honest. I didn't know who the hell that guy was. But that, he has this meme that's out there that says, one piece of content could change your life, and maybe this episode, number 10, could be the one that changes our lives. Like, we don't know. We don't know, but that's the idea of it. It's like an addiction for me. I mean, I just feel obsessed. I just feel like, okay, I know if I do this one, it'll push me further. But if I can just be patient, but maybe it's the next one, and I get so jazzed up about that. Every day I feel like an obligation to get in front of the camera and do this kind of stuff. It excites me.
Yeah. And the whole Gary Vee thing is funny because, I mean, that is somewhat of an inspiration for us on this podcast, because no one was watching his episodes at the very beginning. And in fact, Brian and I, we encourage you to go back and listen to our first probably 1 or 2 or 3 episodes, and definitely watch the video because it is hilarious. We were not that good. We were way too serious. We were trying to be somebody we were not, and we learned from that. But, again, we're always a work in progress, and you have to start somewhere. So in regards to Gary Vee, I mean, he's in whatever episode now of Wine Library, probably over 100, and he's crushing it now. But again, it always starts with a single step, and I wanted to touch on Andy Frisella real quickly. Yeah. Andy Frisella owns a supplement company, and he's very, very successful right now. But I mean, even him, he even went on Instagram and showed the breakdown of his paychecks the first 5 years. He wasn't even making any money, and then the next 3 to 4 years he was breaking even. It was legitimately 10 years before he started really crushing it, and now he's you know, he's got Lambos, and I'm not saying that's what we want to get, you know, but I'm just saying he's.
But we do want to get.
Yeah, we want the Lambo to be the official vehicle of the Unstoppable Pursuit podcast. But my point is, it legitimately, he said it took him 10 years. So if you want to call that overnight success, go ahead. But it was legitimately 10.
Yeah, right. 10 years to an overnight success. So let's talk about how we're going to do this. So that's how we should transfer to the next segment. Dude,
I don't even make noises.
Oh man. For the people who are listening, we have these horn things, but they're not working out. They were only $2 at Party City, so I don't feel so bad. Anyway, so how do we do this? So we go back to, you know, the good thing, you know, good things take time. You know, things that you really, really want, your dreams, your hopes, your everything that you want is going to take time, and you have to just be okay with that. You just have to. It's you know, when I first started my business, you know, my dad told me, and he started many businesses, but he always told me it's going to take twice as long and cost twice as much, always. And he is so dead on with that. But if you think you're going to start a business or a personal brand, it's going to take you a good couple years to really like start seeing some true momentum. I mean, I've seen people like, I can't remember her name, but she went from like 0 to $1 million in a year. But what was she doing before that? But she just knew that it was going to take time to get to where she wanted to go.
Yeah, I think it goes back to, again, what I said at the beginning of dividing things into manageable chunks. And when I say that, I mean, that means like setting short-term and long-term goals, because I never really set short-term and long-term goals in the past. I do that now, but I think that when you do that, it has a built-in factor of patience. Like, well, I have short-term goals that I want to accomplish in a short amount of time, but I also have long-term goals now, and in my head I'm already thinking, well, it's going to take me a while to get to those long-term goals. So I'm building in that patience, like within my formula to success, you know, and I'm breaking it into chunks that kind of force me to be patient, you know, like right now, like, okay, let's say I do want a Lambo. Well, I know I'm going to have to be patient. I'm already building that in because I'm not getting one tomorrow. I know that. Right. That's a long-term goal, you know, so.
But you're right, like, we're and you got, the short-term goals help you keep going. Like, to get to 10 episodes, we felt pretty pumped about that, right? So it's just like, wow, like, that was kind of a short-term goal. It's like, can we get to, there we go. You just got to tug it a little harder, Mike. Oh man, the fire alarm better not go off. Jeez, it stinks. Oh my God, that'll be embarrassing. We don't have Lambos to get the heck out of here fast. So, but yeah, have those short-term goals to help you move forward, to keep you excited, to keep you pumped up, to keep you ready to go. Because, you know, the long-term goal, yes, it's the Lamborghini. But before that, what are you gonna? You got to have the Toyota and the, you know, the Prius and the Fiat and all those things. I mean, we're just at the Fiat, baby, right now. You know, I mean, actually, Mike, we drove a tandem bike here. It was just like. That's where we are right now. So, but having that, and let's talk about visualization, Mike. I think that's so important when you start something, anything.
Yeah. You know, as far as visualization goes, the first time I remember legitimately taking that concept serious was in high school. We had that new basketball coach that I talked about in a previous podcast. He came in, and what he would do is he would make us all lay down before practice in the locker room. He'd shut off all the lights. No one was allowed to say anything. And he would tell us that I want you to visualize yourself in the game, making good moves, making awesome passes, like handling the ball well, like, you know, like sinking like a good shot, you know. And like, at first I thought it was hilarious. I'm like, this is freaking weird. I'm like uncomfortable. I'm trying to listen to see if anyone else is laughing. But what I noticed was legitimately is a lot of those things I was visualizing, like I ended up starting to do some of that in the game, and I'm like, okay, well, this is kind of crazy. Like, this is working for me, you know. So that was my first occurrence where I legitimately put it into practice, and now I do it now. I envision myself speaking to large groups. I envision myself, improving the way my body looks and feels. I mean, visualization is very, very important, not only in business but in health.
Yeah, exactly, and it does help you with the whole overarching theme of the patience, because you can live in that universe. You can live there, and I used to do the same thing with soccer. I mean, I was envision myself making a sweet save, or like saving the game, or scoring a sweet goal, or something like that. Like, and I do the same thing in business all the time. Like, you just have to see yourself. You have to live like you're already there, like just in your mind. There's a great book called Peaks and Valleys, and you're standing on one peak and you see the next one, right? But how do you get there? Well, you got to go through the valley and through the shit and through the crap, and then you got to climb up and then get there, and then you see the next one. But you just always are visualizing. I see what it looks like, I know how it feels, I smell it, I hear it, I know exactly what it looks like and feels like, and I know I can get there, but I have to go through some crap before I really get there. So
right, and it's okay to think short term, but also keep in mind, obviously, long term. You know, keep in mind the big picture, so that you don't get caught up in these tiny little things that just completely wreck you along your journey. Like, if you're in a valley, don't let that define you. If you're at a peak, don't let that define you. Like, ride it out. You know, like, building patience means not, taking shortcuts on anything. Stop taking shortcuts. Like, the fastest way to something is just doing it the right way. Like, people that want to take shortcuts, like, that usually ends up taking a lot longer, and it's a lot harder if you're trying to find a way out than just finding a way through and getting it done. So stay away from the instant gratification. Stop thinking in your mind shortcut. Take care of what needs to be done right now, but just always keep that long term, in the big picture in mind.
Dude, and that's, you just got me so pumped up about, like, you have to do the hard work. If you want your dream and you want your goal and you want all these awesome things in life, like Mike said, you can't take a shortcut to get there. Do the work. Do the hard work. It sucks. It is going to be the hardest thing you'll ever do, but I promise, if you are patient, you will get there. And that's like Mike and I getting here Saturday mornings, like putting this stuff together. Like, I feel like we work on the board, we work on all this stuff, and I feel like we're putting in the hard work now. So hopefully later we'll, be at 100 episodes one day, or 1,000 episodes, and that's what, excites us.
And people don't, people don't see the behind the scenes of this podcast. You guys see us acting a fool up here, talking business like
I forgot to put my helmet on.
I'm going through my book, finding the reading for the next podcast, and, we have a whiteboard where we brainstorm in advance, and we have all these different things written down that we go over and we talk about it with each other. We're texting throughout the week, talking about things. Brian does a ton of stuff on the computer, editing and stuff. So, there are so many pieces to getting to where you want to be. But again, what is all this I just said? It's doing the work.
It's putting your hard hat on, it's putting your helmet on, and frickin' going to work, and doing it.
To be extraordinary, you need to do the ordinary things day in and day out.
Dude,
on a daily basis.
I love that. Absolutely. And the last point I wanted to just talk about was the the last thing I wanted to talk about was, this whole idea of, doing things in a lean way when you're patient. Like, we talked about the lean startup and entrepreneurs and things. Like, I mean, this is very, very lean, like how Mike and I started this. Like, yeah, we want this to be a mass production one day. Like, I mean, I can see it. But for now, it's like just like two dudes, one mic, and a camera. Like, I think that we had to just realize, what is our, minimum viable product in this whole thing. Okay, it's putting it on Facebook and YouTube for right now. Like, that's it. That's what we got to that's the manageable chunk at this point, and that's how we're going to do it. So, I mean, that's just something I wanted to just bring up. Is like, don't have the shiny object. Know we want a million things, but know that start with that one thing. But don't start because your dream's so, huge, Some people just don't start. And it's like, come on. Yeah. You're killing me, Smalls. So
yeah, we didn't have everything organized when we first started this podcast. We had an idea and we came up with a concept, but like we were kind of probably overanalyzing at first, and then we finally said, you know what? Let's just set up a camera. let's come up with a topic and let's just start talking and let's grow and develop as the podcast grows and develop, and we'll find our niche. Like, again, go back and watch the first episode. It's hilarious.
It's terrible.
Like, it's just hilarious. And now we're kind of finding our groove, and we're very passionate about this, and we're getting feedback from people that they love it. I mean, we're doing this for you guys that are listening and are watching. We want to add value to your guys' life. It's a great sounding board for us personally.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, everything doesn't need to be organized. If you have an idea or concept, you know what? Take that first step and just start going.
Yeah, I mean, Mike's right. I mean, we did this for you guys, and we definitely want you to take. We want it like it was a whole idea of like having integrity, like saying what we're gonna do and like doing what we say we're gonna do, kind of thing. And so that's why we're like, take this journey with us. Like, start your thing and get going. Like, we're here doing it. Yeah. So we know you can. If we can do it, oh my God, anybody can.
Heidelberg grads,
yeah, two dudes from the middle of
student princes from the middle of freaking nowhere in Ohio can do it. Then you guys can.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so true. Oh man, so let's kind of get to the wrap up, but be patient with your goals and your dreams. You guys can do this. I know that it's possible. Mike and I know it's possible, but just like chip away at it every day, and you'll get there. But let's talk about the challenge now. They're kind of both health related. Well, obviously the health, but the challenge is also, it's like a patient thing with your health, because lately, always health is a hot topic, but we want people to be at their healthiest so they can do their businesses and they can run their lives the best way. So you want to talk about the scale challenge, Mike?
Yeah, the scale challenge, and I've seen this firsthand many, many times, and I'm going to use weight loss as an example, is majority of the time I have women come to me and they are very impatient. They want to lose a certain amount of weight in a very little bit of time. And so what they do is they weigh themselves like twice a day, every single day, and I have to tell them, listen, okay, your weight's going to fluctuate throughout the day, especially if you're a woman. So rather than, jumping the gun on everything, I say, listen, I want you to be patient. What I want you to do is pick one day a week, weigh yourself in the morning on an empty stomach with no clothes on a particular day, and then wait an entire week and do it under the same conditions the following week. Mm-hmm. So you are comparing apples to apples, okay? Like, you're going to probably weigh more at the end of the day than you were in the morning because you have food in you. Right. I mean, God, you take a poop, you might lose a little bit of weight too. It's like, hello, you're going to fluctuate. So, patience is very huge on a weight loss plan because it takes time. I know. It takes time. Get that image out of your head there, Brian taking a poop. Mike, I'm not losing weight. It takes time to lose weight, and you need to just be patient along that journey and just, compare apples to apples. So, whether you're a male or female, please stop weighing yourself every single day and getting so caught up in that, okay?
I agree.
And then, so we'll transition into the health tip, and people ask me about alcohol. Can I drink alcohol and still, achieve the optimum body, optimum health and wellness? And I say yes and no. Really, I tell people, if you're not a heavy drinker, it's not going to hurt you to go out and drink beer. Like, if you're going to drink, sometimes I almost say, go and drink what you want to drink.
Yeah.
If you're going to drink, and enjoy it. And then get back onto your exercise and your eating. But really, if you want to take it one step further, really what we should all be drinking is red wine. Lots and lots of research has been done on red wine. A lot of doctors actually consider it a risk factor against you if you do not have a glass of red wine every single day. I mean, that's where we're at. Consult with your doctor, obviously, but from the research that I've read, guys are allowed 1 to 2 5-ounce glasses of red wine a day. Women, you're only allowed 1. I'm sorry about that. That's just what the research shows. But if anything past that, then it starts to work against you. But if you follow those guidelines, it can reduce your blood pressure, it can help the bacteria in your stomach, amongst many other things. So red wine is where it's at. There's an extract in red wine called resveratrol. I actually take the extract pill every single day, and I also have a glass of red wine. So if you're a wine drinker, hats off to you. Just keep it in moderation. If you don't care what I just said, and you still want to drink your beer, your Corona, and all that stuff, liquor, by all means, you're free to do so, but just know there are benefits to having some red wine.
Yeah, Cool, man. All right. Hey, thank you all for joining. We really, really appreciate it. We have so much fun on the show. 10th episode, baby. 10th episode. Yes. Hey, thank you for joining, and we'll see you all on the next episode.
All right.